Hey there, YouTube. These Poor Hands, Part 2. I thought it might be worthwhile, assuming that you may be somewhat like me, coming from a background non-military, non-police, just civilian recreational shooter, part-time competitive shooter, to talk a little bit about what first, or I guess more specifically, what pistol did I begin with first? There seems to be no end to the videos and or forum posts. If you're watching this, you've probably read as much as I had in terms of what's the best pistol to start with, what's the most accurate pistol to start with if I'm only going to get one, what's the what's the best pistol for a woman to shoot, what's the best pistol for someone who's recoil sensitive. And I mean, I guess I understand some of the sentiment, and at the same time, the more I researched into it, the more I felt like that there was a level of nuance that wasn't covered a lot of the time. So to cut to the chase, what I ended up doing is there were many pistols that I found that seemed to be very well liked, very well reviewed, very durable, very accurate. All of them are more accurate than we are. But I wanted something that I could practice with a lot without hurting my hands. And yet something that it would be nice if it could grow with me. So what I ended up doing, and I actually ran into another gentleman at a competition recently who did happened to do the exact same thing, didn't know him, but I settled on a 6-hour P229. It's sort of the little sister of the P226, which is so, it's had such a main place in police departments and law enforcement and the like. The 229 is just a little shorter. It's not exactly a compact. It's not hard to conceal, but it's not an easily concealed pistol, at least for a guy my size. But here's the thing. I bought my P229 in .22 long rifle. The same pistol, I bought it off the shelf, new, in .22 long rifle. And SIG offers what are called exchange kits, which allow you, I think most people do the reverse of what I did. They may buy a 226 or a 229 or 228 in 40 caliber or in 45 caliber in 9mm, and then they'll buy an exchange kit in .22. Well, I actually did the opposite. I bought my first pistol, the 229, in .22 caliber. And after I had practiced with it for several months and felt confident with the battery of arms, had built up some muscle memory in terms of how to draw, how to get a good sight picture, working on my grip, working on my stance, breath control, all of that. I then bought an exchange kit in a center fire caliber. I ended up going with 9mm because, again, due to my hands, I wanted something that would both be nice for competition, potentially for defense, though that's not really front of mind often in my shooting. And what's interesting is buying the 229 first in .22 and then buying the exchange kit in 9mm, I end up with the exact same pistol that I would have gotten had I just gone straight 9mm right out of the gate for less. It cost me less money to buy the pistol in 22 caliber and later buy a 9mm exchange kit than if I had just bought the pistol outright in 9mm. And it cost me way less than if I had bought it in 9mm and then bought a 22 exchange kit. So I don't know off the bat, if this also would apply to the 226 or many of the other SIG pistols that are out there, but I know that it did at the time, and this would have been around 2012 for me in the 229. And I'll see if I can't roll in some footage shopping online. As we all know, price is subject to change week to week, month to month, and especially as political climates change. So supply and demand is going to determine all that. But I will see if I can't find some footage to sort of back up the same argument now, 5-6 years later. But I suspect it is still the same. Along the same lines, I guess, along the same philosophy, you may want to look at there are some Ruger revolvers that most revolvers that are chambered in .357, well, all revolvers chambered in .357, typically will also take .38, with some exceptions. There's an interesting revolver from Ruger. I want to say it's either the Red Hawk or Black Hawk, but they make a combo kit where you can get a cylinder for it would handle both .357 and .38, and with the use of moon clips will handle 9mm rounds within the same revolver. Anything that you can do to find a single weapon or single pistol that has the same battery of arms, the same form factor, the same muscle memory that you'll be building practicing, hopefully with a reduced recoil round like .22, that you can then use later for competition or concealed carry or what have you in a more sustainable centerfire caliber, to me is great, because ultimately there are several forums out there that talk about something like this for the sake of cost savings. It's certainly cheaper to shoot .22, but if you're like me and you're dealing with weakening hands, painful hands, less flexible hands, the cost is one thing, but if you're going to practice, if you're going to build up your sense of marksmanship, you've got to be able to withstand 50, 60, 100 rounds at an outing. And whenever you're shooting 40 caliber or 45 caliber or .357 SIG or some of those hotter loads, .357 period, that's not a fun day at the range if every recoil shocks the tendons in your thumbs and in your palms. So that's what I ended up doing, and I will try to do a write-up on that pistol or a video on that pistol shortly. Thanks.